Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode here in NHL 23. And yes, we are back up here in the playoffs after an insane season. Obviously, last year we won the Stanley Cup. This year we finished with a 57-22-3 record, and it was just an incredible season from this team. We didn't even really make any changes to our lineup that much since last year when we won the Cup, so I'm hoping that we could pull off the back-to-back. It would be really nice to pull off the back-to-back, but will we be able to? Probably not, just because EA for some reason always craps on you when you have a good record. But we are going to be taking on the St. Louis Blues for the first time in round one. This, I believe, used to be a pretty good rivalry back in the day, if I'm not mistaken, so this should be an interesting matchup for sure. I believe St. Louis hasn't been in the playoffs that much in this franchise mode so far, so this is our first matchup against them, unless it's just because they aren't, well, they are actually in the same division as us, so they must have been always doing pretty bad in these first, 10 seasons or so, or 10 plus seasons, I should say. But before we get into round number one, let me take a look and show you guys our player stats again from the regular season, just in case you forgot. But basically, Asher Vance, Connor McDavid, and Reefers all went off. Every single one of them had above 100 points. And I believe there was only like 8 players with 100 or more points this season in the NHL, and we had 3 of them, which is kind of insane. So hopefully this line can continue doing what it was doing in the playoffs. Asher Vance obviously led the league in goals and in points this time around, so he is going to win an Art Ross for the first time in his career, and I believe it's his 4th Richard already as well, which is pretty insane. Our depth scoring is pretty solid still, but obviously you can see it drops off considerably after our top line, so hopefully we can get our other lines going again in the playoffs, because depth scoring is always key to winning a Stanley Cup, I feel like. But everybody in our lineup did pretty well this season, I'd say. So there is all that. And then goalie-wise, unfortunately, right at the end of the season, we did suffer a couple injuries. So Aiden Howden will be missing the beginning of the first round and also part of the second round if we get there, because of the fact that he got injured. I think it was with like 1 game left or 2 games left. But he is potentially going to be the one that ends up winning the Vezina this year. So it is kind of sucks to lose our Vezina winning goaltender that quick. But at least we have Scavello, who had an insane season, as our backup this season. So hopefully he can win us the first round, and then hopefully Howden can take over for that once he is back from injury. And then we're going to have to rely on Tukio from the AHL as our backup option for the playoffs so far, which is not too great, but hopefully we can still get out of the first round and get to back where Howden is back and healthy. Also, Niittymaki was actually injured right at the end of the season round as well, so he will miss pretty sure it was I think up to game 5 of this first round. So that's a little bit of a painful loss, but at least we still have a pretty good defensive core without him. So hopefully the offense still goes good and all that type of thing. So there is our player stats. And let me show you guys what the St. Louis Blues look like on paper before we get into game number 1. I think we should definitely have a good chance of beating them. But like I said, will we win against them because we just won, I'm pretty sure, the President's Trophy? I don't know. You can see they have a pretty good top 6. This is where I get a little bit concerned. As you can see, Bobby Fuller, Robert Thomas is still there, probably dropping off a lot though. Emmanuel Brossoit. Then you have a second line, Nicholas Backlund, Marco Rossi, and Peyton Bonvie. So yeah, the top 6 is fantastic. The bottom 6 is pretty balanced, but it's not like the best bottom 6 I've ever seen, but it's still not terrible. And then defensively, they have a pretty good defensive core as well, though. They have Backstrom, they have Datsuk, our former defenseman. They also have Holmberg and Mera. And then a solid top 6 with Grons and Vukovic. So, yeah, their defensive core is pretty good. Their goaltending is pretty much in the same type of boat as us right now because of the injury. But they have Hicketts, and they also have Gonchar. And depth-wise, it's pretty solid too. So it's actually a pretty decent team for the Blues for being as not good as they were. Like, they were 45-29-8. Don't get me wrong, that's a good record, but it's nothing close to our 57-22-3 record. But anyways, let's get into this round 1 matchup and see if we can get back to that second round, because we should be able to. If we don't get to the second round, it's definitely the EA Sim engine. But if we do get to it, we should be able to cruise, because St. Louis was the 5th seeded team. We were the 1st seeded team. And then, like, the only teams that I could see us giving us a little bit of trouble is, like, probably Colorado could give us trouble if we end up having to play them at all. Arizona maybe as well, and Dallas. But all these other teams, It was kind of tight, I guess, for like last few playoff spots, but it's going to be interesting to see what could happen in this postseason. Hopefully Vance and McDavid and Reefers just carry us as far as possible again. Because if we win another Stanley Cup, that'd be awesome, because I have not won back-to-back since, I think, my Arizona series. So, anyways, let's get into Game 1. Waste no more time. See if Asher Vance could go off like he did in the regular season. Here we go. Home ice advantage, entire playoffs. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Let's not let that EA Sim engine screw us out of a chance at winning back-to-back here. First period of Game 1. Exactly what I thought was going to happen. We were going to end up getting outplayed. We're down 2-0 after 1 because the EA Sim engine is just like, yo, you won too much during a regular season, you're not going to win at all hardly in the playoffs. Not a great start for Scavello, who had a great regular season, 2 goals against on 7 shots. That's where I really wish I had Haven. Bonvie gets a power play goal, and then Jacobson scores. Shots are 8-7 in favor of us, so at least we're getting chances, but we definitely need to convert on our chances, and Scavello needs to be much better. Can we at least get a goal back in the second period? Second period? Okay, there we go. We got one back, and it is Asher Vance. Let's go, Asher. That's his technically 66th goal of the year, considering he had 65 in the regular season. And he is very close to being my best goal scorer of all time. And he also already broke like goal records and stuff like that for my franchise mode series that I've had in the past. He's had the most goals in the season over like Matvei Michkov already, which is kind of nuts. So, anyways, it's a 2-1 game. Shots are 14-13. So this is a very low shooting game. Can we find a way to tie this game up in the third period? Come on, boys. Let's get our depth scoring going. Hey, Frank Nazar. That's good. That's our second line. And then we take the lead. Connor McDavid. Good little comeback from the boys. We were down 2-0, but now we're up 3-2. Let's get some insurance here. Penalty kill. Nicely done. Power play. We do not capitalize. The refs are blowing a lot of penalties here in this third period. Final few minutes. And we are going to lock it down and win 3-2. Okay. I was a little bit concerned when we were down 2-0 after 1, to be honest, but our offense comes back. We got outshot 24-22, so like I was saying, not a lot of shots in this game, but we do get the victory, and that's all that matters. So, Vance from Jenks and Corrado. So Jenks got thrown in because of the injury to Nitamaki. He gets an assist, which is good. Nazar from Kavanov and Brecky, and then McDavid from Reefers. So everybody on our top line had points again. Not a surprise. We just need to make sure our other lines can get going. So McDavid gets first star, Vance the second star, and Scavello, despite the slow start where he gave up 2 goals in the first period, he ends up getting third star because he was pretty much locked in the rest of the game, which is pretty good. So hopefully he continues to do that for us. And oh my goodness, now we run into more injury problems. That is a big loss too. That is our top defenseman. Matthias Brunstrom has been injured with a mild concussion. It is only like day to day pretty much. But we are getting slapped with the injury bug here lately. Right at the end of the regular season and now into the playoffs. Oh, I do not like that. We will have to call up somebody from the minors because I should not put a forward as a defenseman. I mean, I could try Hart for a couple games, but I think that might not be good. I'm going to put Hart for the temporary spot right now. But I think he will eventually come back out. If there's somebody I could call up from the minors. Let me just put Hart in all those spots for now. Oh, actually, he already is. Okay, good. Let me just go take a look at the minors, see if there's somebody we could call up on the defensive standpoint. Not really. I could call up Henrik Brunstrom, so the other Brunstrom. This guy never got a chance at the NHL. He's already 28. Yeah, I'm going to call up Henrik Brunstrom. He's going to get his chance to play his first NHL playoff game just because of that injury. When one Brunstrom goes down, another Brunstrom comes up. Let's see if he could maybe help out somehow. I don't think he's really an NHL caliber defenseman, so it's going to be a little bit weird, but we got to do what we got to do. We can't play forwards on defense on the playoffs. It's just too much of a risk. And we don't even have enough defensemen down there in the minors, so I'm just going to throw a forward on defense for now. Because Rockford isn't as important to me. Like, the development of the prospects are important, but everybody else, not so much. Who was the guy that I just put in? That was Tikhonov, right? I think. Let's see. Tikhonov. Yeah, it was this Tikhonov dude. There you go. Okay, so that's all set and ready to go almost. Brunstrom. Okay, he doesn't give it a minus. So let's hope that Brunstrom randomly comes through with like a goal. That would be awesome. He is going to get power play time, I guess, right? Yeah, he is going to get power play time with a lot of studs, so there is a chance he could pick up some points in his first NHL game. But the good thing is the other Brunstrom is back relatively shortly. Like, he's only going to probably miss 2 games at most. So, if that was like a 1 for the entire playoffs, that would have been a big slap to the face. But hopefully we could still win without our major Brunstrom. Okay, here we go. Let's get into game number 2. See if we could take a 2-0 series lead here. We need these wins, and then hopefully Matthias Brunstrom comes back and helps us out a lot more too. First period of game number 2. 1-1. Okay, I'll take it. Connor McDavid scores, so McDavid's off to a good start this playoff run, as per usual. Obviously, last year he won the Conn Smythe. And then Bonvie scores to tie it at 1. Shots are 9-4, so I don't like that they only scored on 4 shots. Scavello definitely needs to be a little bit better here, but at least he's playing somewhat solid at this point. He hasn't been blown out yet. Hopefully that doesn't happen in this game, knock on wood. Let's see if we can find a way to take a lead in the second period. Second period, 3-1. There you go. Vance and Recchi, let's go. Our top guys are doing what they need to do. Most of our goals so far, I think, in this playoff run have been our top 6. So hopefully the third and fourth line could get going eventually too. But it is good to have a 2-goal lead going into the third. We have only 14 shots on goal, so our team is just not getting chances, but they're scoring on their chances, which is great. And we've only given up 1 goal on 21 shots, so there's a good period from Scavello. Let's see what happens in this third period, see if we could lock this one down. Kabanov makes it 4-1. Let's go, Kabanov. Yeah, this has been a pretty good series so far. 5-1. Brunstrom scores his first ever NHL goal. It's a playoff goal. That's awesome to see him come up from the AHL and get a goal in his first game. I don't know if he's ever going to get another shot at the NHL after he gets sent back down, but you never know. And then Day makes it 5-2, and that is going to be the final. So a good effort from Scavello, 30 saves. So Scavello is doing pretty well, considering our number 1 is currently out. So McDavid from Kabanov and Brigley, Vance from Spiller and McDavid, Recchi from Kabanov and Morris, Kabanov from Nazar and Recchi, and Brunstrom's first ever playoff goal from Ziska and Corrado. Love to see it. Love to see it. That was some good insurance from him. Yeah, Kabanov had a great game. 3 points. A couple 2-point guys as well. And then, yeah, Scavello is doing really well for this backup option, which is good considering if Howden comes back and Howden's not the same goalie he was in the regular season, we could always turn to Scavello. And Scavello is also signed for 1 more year still, so that's also really good. So Kabanov first star, Recchi the second star, and Scavello the third. So our Brunstrom should be back, our top defenseman Brunstrom, I think. He might be back this game. If he's not, he'll be back for the next game. Yeah, he's going to be back for game 4, which gives Henrik Brunstrom his second ever playoff game. He's already got 1 goal. Can he score again? I guess I got to just keep the lineup the exact same. There's not really much we can do. We have a 2-0 series lead as well, so I'm not going to play any, make any huge drastic changes yet. Let's see if we could take a 3-0 stranglehold and be 1 win away from going back to the second round, which would be good because we'll be back to full health relatively soon too. So first period of game 3, we're now in St. Louis. Let's see if we could win on the road as well. And we're up 3-1 after 1. Well, that's a great way to start off, and it's everybody on our top line. Reefers, McDavid, and Vance. Mara gets a goal for the Blues, but we are up 3-1. Once again, not a lot of shots, but we're converting. 3 goals on 8 shots for us, 1 goal on 12 shots for them. Let's get some more insurance just to play it safe, but it's funny that all 3 of our goals literally came from the identical spot almost in the middle of the ice. And that's all our top line. Second period, 5-3, Recchi and Ovechkin score, which is good, but Fuller and Rossi have pulled them back within 2 goals only, so it's a little bit scary. We have 5 goals on 19 shots. They have 3 goals on 24 shots, so this is not a great game for Scavello, but at least he's winning. Let's see if we can lock this down in the third period. Come on, boys. Power play opportunity. We do not convert. At least he killed some time off the clock. And also my voice is trying to go on me, so hopefully it does not. Final 5 minutes. We stopped by 2 goals, and Cole Schwint makes it a 1-goal game. That's not good. Come on, boys. Lock it down. Lock it down. And we are going to do that. We just barely escaped that one with a 5-4 win, and we have a 3-0 series lead, and we're 1 win away from the second round. Reefers from Vance and McDavid, McDavid from Vance and Nazar, and Vance from McDavid and Reefers. Oh, man, that's funny. The entire top line had like 2 points, 2 to 3 points in the first period alone. Nazar was the one that only broke that up a little bit, but that's hilarious. Then Recchi from Kabanov and Nazar. Ovechkin from Spiller and Vance. Vance had like a 4-point game, I think. And they're mostly assists too, which mostly he's a goal-scoring guy, but he's picking up assists too. I like that his hybrid production has been a little bit better since McDavid's been on the top line. Love to see it. Top line has been phenomenal so far. Skavell, not a great effort, but I'm not going to turn to Tukio because Tukio is like a 77, so... And look, our top line is the 3 stars of the game. Vance, McDavid, and Reefers. Not too bad. Okay. So we have a 3-0 series lead, and we should be getting our Brunstrom back here. And Niittymacki's back also, which is good. Niittymacki is back from injury as well. We will sound down Henrik Brunstrom. Best of luck down there, buddy. I appreciate you scoring a goal here in our playoff run. You probably won't even get your name on the Stanley Cup if we win, but I appreciate you stepping up when we needed it most. So, Niittymacki's going to go in where Jenks was, not Brunstrom. I just make sure everybody's actually back in the right spots. And then this empty spot is where the top Brunstrom goes. And then obviously he goes back to the top pairing. Spiller. I think it was like this we were running, right? Yeah, I think it was something like this we were running. I can't remember exactly what we were running for some reason now. Yeah, we'll go with this for now. I don't know if that was exactly what we were running, but we'll put it like that. And then we'll make sure Brunstrom is in on that spot. Yeah, he is. Okay, good. So our lines are set. Actually, Vance is at center. I didn't even remember that. I actually know I do remember that because when I was editing the video, I realized that I actually left Asher Vance as the center instead of Reefers. I'm going to put Vance back to the wing, even though he has been good as a center right now. So we'll go with that. That's our only line change, but we are 1 win away from sweeping the St. Louis Blues. We're almost back to full health. Pretty much we're just relying on Howden to come back, which he will be coming back in the second round if we get there, because I'm not saying we're going to get there for sure, because who knows, we could honestly just get reverse swept, because knowing EA, I could feel like it after having a great season and starting 3-0, they could all of a sudden just not allow us to score a single goal, so... Here we go. Can we sweep the St. Louis Blues, or will the Blues get their first win of the playoffs on their home ice? Let's see what happens. First period of Game 4. 1-0 us. Let's go. Reefers again. Let's go top line. That top line might be a little cheat code. Shots are 11-7 in favor of us, so this time around we're actually getting some chances, but it's only a 1-goal game. Can we get some insurance in the second period? Second period? 3-1. Okay, that's the insurance. They did get back within 1 goal, but that late goal from Matthias Brunstrom, who's back from injury, really helps out a lot. So Package Slotty scored. Good to see a depth kind of guy scoring like a 3rd/4th liner. So we can't always just rely on our top line all the time. Well, we can, but at the same time, I like all of our lines to be kind of clicking, you know. So Braswell has their goal. Rauchem 24-13. We're up by 2 goals going into the 3rd period. Let's just lock this down and close out this series here, boys. Let's just lock it down. It's been a pretty solid first round effort. Considering I thought we were maybe going to lose just because EA likes to shit on people who win the President's Trophy, right? So let's break that curse this year. Let's break that curse. Final few minutes. Schwint scores another late goal, but we're up still by 1, and there's an empty netter from Asher Vance, and that seals the deal. We are going back to round number 2 with a sweep over the St. Louis Blues. Let's go. Reefers from Bales and Ovechkin, Pakislotty from Corrado and Brunstrom from Nazar and Kabanov, and Vance from McDavid. So, yeah, Brunstrom picks up 2 points in his first game back. You love to see it. He gets first star of the game. Vance the second star. He had 4 hits. I didn't realize he was much of a hitter. And Reefers the 3rd star. Yeah, our top line definitely carried us to that sweep there, I think. Let's take a look at our player stats for round 1, and then we will see who we're facing in round 2. We are the first Western Conference team to get to the second round. So we'll have the most rest in us, which might be a good thing, might not be. No team is actually on to round 2 other than us. Let's see our player stats after round 1. See what we're working with here. So, Vance and McDavid, 7 points in 4 games. You love to see it. These guys are always helping each other out. Kabanov was actually really good in that first round, too. He kind of like slid under the radar. 6 points in 4 games. Nazar and Reefers were also good. Reefers was just point per game, but that's okay. Ziska and Brigley also had assists, so that's good to see our third and fourth liners scoring some points. Package and Bales had points. Patterson had no points. He's usually the type to come out in later rounds, like he came out when we won the Stanley Cup last year, so hopefully that's the case this year. And then we head over to the right wingers. Recchi, 4 points in 4 games. Corrado, 3 points in 4 games. Not too bad. Yeah, the depth scoring is actually a lot better than I thought, because everybody on our forward core had points except for Patterson. Obviously, like the third and fourth line, a little bit quiet, but they're never going to put up a lot of points in a playoff run, I don't think. Defensively, Bernstrom had 2 points in 2 games. Ovechkin had 2 points as well, same as Spiller. Jenks and Morris had a point each. Jenks was actually playing really well before he ends up getting scratched because Bernstrom returned. And yeah, Niedermaki's only played 1 playoff game because of his injury. And obviously, we know about the other Bernstrom. He had 1 goal as well. So almost every defenseman has a point so far in this playoff run. Goalie-wise, Scavello was pretty good. He had a couple weird starts to games, but we get the sweep. He has a .913 save percentage and a 2.5, so not going to say that's a terrible playoff performance because I have had a lot worse from elite goaltenders. So there you go. Vance and McDavid leading the way, not a surprise though. Who are we playing in round 2 of the playoffs? And also, hopefully, okay, so Niedermaki's now full health, which is great. Hopefully he can help out with the offense a little bit. But we still have a little bit to go before Aiden Howden returns from his injury, which he suffered like a shoulder injury, I think, which is definitely a tough injury for a goaltender. We are going to be taking on Colorado in round 2, which, like I said, was probably one of the tougher teams we'd have to face. They were only 2-8 in their last 10 games going into the playoffs. That's a bit scary. So they all of a sudden have turned it on. So it's us in Colorado, Anaheim and Dallas in the other matchup. Then you have Buffalo and the Rangers. Montreal is still out there with Philadelphia. Philadelphia has Easton Donald, so that would be kind of scary if we ever have to face Philly in the Cup Finals. But Montreal, obviously we faced them last year for the Cup, so we know they're really scary. Not sure on the other teams, so I believe the Rangers might have Comesso still, so that would be an interesting note if we end up somehow getting to the finals against them. But hopefully we could win this next matchup against Colorado because they are probably a bit tougher of a team. Let's take a look at how they did during the regular season and playoffs so far. And then we'll take a look at the roster. So yeah, they were the second best team in the Central Division behind us by 16 points. Which that has me a bit concerned because usually if you're the top team in a division, you're not going to win that much. But if you're like a second or third team, then you actually win a decent amount of the playoffs. So, but we are a better offensive team. We are also a better defensive team, but they are pretty good compared to the rest of our division. Power play wise, we were also better, and penalty kill wise, they were a little bit worse. So we were technically better than them at everything in the regular season. They did score more shorthanded goals though, and their road record and home record weren't as good, obviously, as us too, because we were much above them standings wise. How about playoffs so far? What has been their bread and butter? Has it been their power play, their penalty kill? Let's see. So they were 4-1, so they won in 5 games. They scored 15 goals. They were scoring 3 goals a game. We scored 4.25 goals a game. They're a little bit better defensively than us, 2.4 to 2.5. Their power play has been great so far. That's a bit scary. Ours is not too good. Ours is 1 for 10. Theirs is 4 for 15. And our penalty kill has been fantastic so far. 1 for 13. Theirs has been 3 for 17. So there is that. Now let's take a look at their roster. Do they have any former Blackhawks players on their team? Because I honestly don't think we have played them, I'm pretty sure, in the playoffs before. I could be wrong though. So Jamal Howes, Alex Newhook, and Philip Tomasino. Yeah, I think I do remember playing this team at least once in the playoffs before. Second line, Noel Gunler, Logan Stankoven, who we used to have. Yeah, that's right. And Jacob Gogolev. Third line, Garrett Goddard, Juha Varakis, and Jimmy Cunning. And a fourth line is Zion Nybeck, Davis Robinson, and Simon Holmstrom. That's a pretty good forward core. Yeah, that's actually a really good forward core, especially on this left side. The left side is actually really strong for this type of team. And the right side's actually pretty strong too. I don't know why Nybeck's on the fourth line. But Yeah, this is a really good forward core. The depth on centers is solid too, but obviously having an 82 as a second line center is a little bit weak considering, but it's still a good forward core. Defensively, they're also pretty good. Bowen Byram's still there. Timo Jokela, I believe this guy's been pretty good offensively, right? Solid. Former 25th overall pick. They also have Bobby Brindamore, what a name. Ulrich Statsny, and a top 6 of Henrik Ackerstrom and Bear Del Zotto. Yeah, that defensive core is pretty good. You have 3 legit top 4 defensemen, and then the rest are kind of like more top 6 options. And goalie-wise, they have Cristiano Agon. Did we play him before? Yeah, we did when he was still with the Avs, okay. Which he might have won a Stanley Cup or came close to a cup a few years ago. Huh. And they also have Will Cranley. Depth-wise, they have Danny Zhilkin, Matthias Michelli, and Jan Misak. So, yeah, this might be a tough matchup. I know we have definitely a way better team on paper, but I think it could be a really even matchup for the most part. So I could definitely see the series going 7 games based on just looking at their roster. But one last thing before we end this episode, let me take a comparison on overalls, because I am curious about that. 96, 88, 77 for us, and they are 94. What was it, the other one? I hate how it just goes so quick, so I can't see it. 94, 86, 84. So their only better part apparently is their goaltending than us, just because we have that injury to Howden at the moment. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to round 2 against the Colorado Avalanche as we look to get back to the conference finals against either Anaheim or Dallas. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.